It's kind of a blog. I'll be on Facebook Live, but they delete them every time. It's weird. It doesn't meet their standards or whatever, or I don't have the permission to share it, and it's my own video. Anyway, so let's do this. So in regards to this lockdown or this quarantine or whatever, and I hear a lot of people talking about the political agenda, or, you know what I'm saying, the worldwide agenda, or the New World Order, or 5G, or left wing, or right wing, or Democrat, or Republican, and I mean, really none of that matters. What matters is we've never seen nothing like this, ever. Have you ever seen the entire world stop? Maybe not stop, maybe not everybody stopped, but there's a whole lot of less movement than there was this time last year. And here's my fear, assumption, hypothesis, guess, whatever, take. My biggest concern is, one, evidently people are dying, people are getting sick. I haven't met one yet that I know of. It hasn't been confirmed. I can't prove it. But here's my take on the situation. All right, so we're from a small town in northern West Michigan. Anyway, or Midwest Michigan. Midwest Michigan in the Midwest. But anyway, so here's my take on the whole thing. A lot of small businesses or franchises are shutting down. They're being closed down. They're shuttering their doors. They're keeping their employees home. You know what I mean? They're laying off. They're firing. They're discontinuing. And people are like, oh, well, they got bailouts for that sort of thing. There's underemployment or unemployment or whatever. Okay, cool. That's awesome. But a lot of these businesses, matter of fact, 99% of businesses depend on commerce. They depend on the common person to just be gallivanting about or on their daily routine, deciding to stop by and grab something, spend something, browsing. You know what I mean? Being vain, being covetous. That's what they depend on. And if that doesn't happen, they don't function. Now, what about the people that have to pay royalties into these franchises, or they have to pay their mortgage on the building they're renting, or they have to pay their, you know what I mean, their dues on the spot that they're renting inside a mall or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So these people are used to making, what do they usually pay, like $7,000 a month or something like that, you know what I'm saying? These banks are used to getting, you know what I'm saying, say 500 places shut down or slowed their process, you know what I'm saying? And their customer base dropped drastically. No, I'm not a businessman. I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't understand 100% about business and economics, but I do see things in patterns, and I do see things how things fit together. And my greatest concern is the banks. So, say 500 businesses lose $100 a month that they're feeding into a bank. You know what I'm saying? Or just say, okay, let's just do 500 businesses lose $1,000 that they're feeding into a bank. You know what I'm saying? So say 500 businesses each give their bank, their mortgage broker, their lender $1,000 a month. Okay, this bank just lost $500,000. That greatly drops down the chances of you walking into that bank and cashing your check for $1,000. You see what I'm saying? You get what I mean? So you're going to go into a bank and go to cash your check and be like, yeah, we ain't got that kind of funds. You know what I'm saying? Or, so say that bank doesn't have them. So they're going to have to go borrow more money from a larger bank. And that larger bank's going to be like, okay, so what do you have of value? Oh, well, we got the Morgans. A $200,000 house right here. They're like, yeah, ain't nobody buying that right now. Show me somebody that's got $200,000 to buy it, or show me one of your partner banks or one of the smaller banks like yourself that are willing to relinquish that kind of cash. You know what I'm saying? Release that kind of cash. Show me that. Show me that. So here's my issue with that. So at what point in time, think about it. How many businesses, how many people do you think are without a job and without an income right now? That you know of, that you could think of off the top of your head. At least 100. There's at least 100 people that you could think of right now that are at least not making $100 a week that they're used to making. You see what I'm saying? And that's supposed to be, well, a lot of times that could be in a bank. That could be functioning. That goes to your gas stations. That goes to your little restaurants, your little franchises and stuff like that. And that's not happening. Things are ceasing to work. When we come out of this, whether it's a political agenda or a monopolizing move or whatever it is, if this is a monopolizing move or a political agenda, why is the whole entire world doing it? Why are people that our country don't even see eye to eye with, or don't even look at each other with, they're definitely not shaking hands right now, why are they all involved? Why is the entire world involved? You know what I'm saying? Why are airlines stopped? Just think about that. Think about all the commerce that usually happens in your day-to-day. Think about the billboards where you see advertisements. Them don't mean shit no more. Nobody trying to stop there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are germaphobes to begin with. And most are becoming them. Because, well, if they ain't got this, they ain't trying to touch that door handle. They ain't trying to touch that money. They ain't trying to touch you. And some of them are scared that they're not supposed to leave their house. And I guess I don't want to sit in my house and not going anywhere, but I really don't have anything to do. Basically, I ain't got a job no more. Unless somebody calls me and says, hey, D, this failed. I mean, I haven't went out there and tried to look for work or whatever, because my bills are paid right now and I haven't seen it to be that much desperation. You know what I'm saying? I'm not unemployed. The companies that usually hire me, they ain't doing nothing. Because the people that have the 9-to-5s aren't paying them to come and do repairs. They're not calling on banks to get loans so they can get brand new things, so they can get cars, so they can get windows, so they can get doors, so they can get roofs, so they can get walls, so they can get additions. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's refinancing right now. There's a lot of people like, oh, no better time to buy, no better time to buy. Who you going to buy from? Because if you're going to buy, you're going to have your own cash. Cold, hard turkey. You know what I'm saying? Or a lot of gold, or something of equal or lesser value. And then you're going to have to find somebody that's willing to buy that something of equal or lesser value. And in order for them to buy that, they got to go through and be like, well, is there a market for this? You know what? I just don't see anybody buying that. You know what? I'm not even interested in it. You go ahead and take that back. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people that are going out there probably with a lot of money that are like, shit, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that, I'm going to buy this. Because in the long run, it's going to be good. And what sucks is I've seen a lot of people start to come up lately. And, the past couple of years. And there's a lot of people that are on top of the world. Or they got all their eggs in one basket. And they're just sitting around, all their eggs in a million baskets. And they're waiting for the turnout. And they're scratching by because they're like, it's going to be worth it. 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 What about that guy that only had 2 more payments to pay his mortgage off or his business off? And now he just defaulted because, well, his 9-to-5 don't exist anymore. So what's it going to be like when you can't walk into the grocery store and get eggs? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these people, a lot of these businesses depend on commerce. They depend on people just running around, just deciding, hey, I'm going to go spend money today. Nobody's trying to leave their houses. Nobody's trying to spend money. And intelligent people are either investing into what people can no longer afford and buying it for a fraction of the cost, or they're just hoarding their cash. We got famous people not leaving their houses. You know what I'm saying? There's rich people not leaving their houses. And then there's people out there gallivanting and shaking hands or whatever and doing exactly what they don't want you to. I don't know what the effects of this virus are. Like I say, I don't know if I've met somebody that's had it. The virus isn't what scares me. A lot of people and myself, were brought up from, I guess you could say we were poverty-stricken, impoverished. You know what I'm saying? Poor. We weren't rich folks. We weren't well off. So we know how to get our hands dirty, and we know how to make something for nothing. So those of us that came from the ground, that came from the bottom, and we're finally climbing our way out of the pit, well, it ain't going to be nothing for us to start back over again. Ain't no better place to build a solid foundation than rock bottom. But those middle class guys that are used to having it all, that are used to people like us, that depend on people like us, the peasants, to go to work and to do their work for them and to do their bidding while they sit atop of their castle, their stuff's going to start depleting. They might get desperate. They might freak out. So what do we do when this is all over? Is it going to be like the Great Depression all over again? I mean, we've made it this far from the Depression. Are we still going to have cell phones and technology and all that without the small worker ants and worker bees to keep the system going?